right, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and start draft here, and we're going to read off our teams.
Starting off with Norris, we have Cooper Newman in top, Tyler Wilson in the jungle, Eli Schumer in the mid lane, Elena Elwood, ADC, and Zach Robertson on support.
And they are playing against Omaha Skutt. So we have Charles Miller in the jungle, Zhang Wang in the mid, Logan Moore, top support, Michael Graves, bottom, ADC, Aiden Linguist as our support. And we are seeing a Timo Viego LeBlanc band coming out from the blue side and a Mordekaiser and Pike band coming out from the red side.
Excellent choices for bands here. Nobody likes to see Timo in their games. Viego can be a definite threat. A Morgana band.
Morgana band is a solid band here. She is, the root really hurts. That black shield is super annoying.
3-second root is no fun.
A Nasus hover and a Nasus pick.
An infinite scalar already for top lane. However, I'd like to see a hyper-aggressive top lane here to counter out the Nasus.
An Ornn.
An Ornn.
We're going to have a gentleman's agreement topside with a Yi. So maybe it's the Ornn with a hyper-aggressive jungler.
That could be an excellent... And we're going into a Kha'Zix.
Also another hyper-aggressive jungler.
I'm not sure.
This is going to be a very interesting game.
Kha'Zix relies on getting farm, but so does Yi. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure, but I think Yi's going to have the late game advantage.
And Azir mid coming out.
And Azir. Azir is one of those champions that if you don't play him right, he loses. You play him right, he wins. We'll have to see how well they do.
I'm excited to see a Shurima shuffle.
Shurima shuffle.
And now they're thinking. I don't think they expected an
Aurelion
Soul.
We get to see the dragon.
The silly little dragon.
Silly little dragon.
And
the
I am
infinite
excited.
scalar.
So we have a lot of scaling going on.
Yeah, we've got 2 infinite scalars in one match, plus an Ornn on the side of the Aurelion Soul. I'm kind of afraid for our red team here. Blue team here.
I would agree. However, if you can shut down the A-Soul, especially with the Azir range with his soldiers, you might have a chance. If he can't get stacks, he can't scale. We see a Fiddlesticks band coming out. A Fiddlesticks band.
Why would you be banning Fiddle at this point?
I'm a little concerned because that is a jungle ban while they have a Kha'Zix picked.
Yes, they are aware of the jungler.
It might be a panic ban.
It might be a panic ban.
We did see a Lux ban as well. Those
for
are
all we
common.
know, Rune
and a
Knight,
Caitlyn ban.
Caitlyn ban is an excellent choice considering what we were seeing. Was Fortune ban?
I mean, we could have seen a Fiddlesticks support, I guess is what you were going.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that
we
was
have a Samira pick.
A Samira pick.
That is a rare one.
I would like to see a hyper-aggressive support here, like a Leona or a Blitzcrank.
Nautilus. Nautilus is great with Samira, but also with that Aurelion Soul ult, if you get that knockup, that is a huge stack opportunity for that Samira.
Looks like they might be going into that Tristona Leona again.
Hey, it is a reliable pick. It just wasn't working last time.
Ashe support.
Ashe support? Huh.
A lot of AD on the side of red here.
Uh-huh.
A little bit worried.
Man, they should have gone Rammus.
Man, they should have gone Rammus. That poor Kha'Zix. Well, sorry, I should say poor Yi going into a Kha'Zix. That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
He really can't do the bullying that he'd like to do here.
Well, Kha'Zix just goes invisible.
Kha'Zix just goes invisible.
He jumps away.
I mean, if Yi presses Q, then it doesn't matter.
And they did also ban MF, which was an interesting ban for me.
Yes. Getting rid of the 2 base level bans.
Yeah.
Like, 2 base level champs for bot lane. I mean,
that is true. Lux, MF, very starter champs.
Starter champs that don't really fall off as you go into higher ranks, so.
MF is so strong, and so is Lux. Lux is a little less strong because of her lack of mobility.
Lack of mobility is definitely a death sentence for champions like Lux.
Absolutely. So I can see why,
I understand the Teemo ban now, considering they picked Nasus. Getting rid of Teemo is important while playing Nasus, because if you have a Teemo, it's just going to keep you out of the game as Nasus. So you can just press Q whenever you go to stack.
Yes, which is tragic.
It is.
To be able to prevent you from stacking, that is honestly all that Nasus lives for.
Yep. I'd like to see the Aurelion Soul making sure to play around where the statues are at in mid lane.
Yes.
If Azir can't deal damage with his statues, he can't get much done.
Absolutely. I am interested to see which runes Azir takes, because he does have a couple that he can take here.
Yes. I think Aurelion Soul really needs to save his W for any time Azir tries to engage him here.
Absolutely. I'm a little concerned about this Samira because while she does have a lot of mobility and a lot of that block because of her wind wall, she really doesn't have much against this Tristana and Leona.
The Ashe pick is very questionable considering you really need another engaged champ with a Samira. If you have an Ashe that's just going to be sitting back, not much is going to be able to happen bot lane.
The only reason that I can see this as a perk is because Ashe is ranged and can keep poking Leona from afar. So if you can poke out the Leona before she can engage, she can't engage.
It's going to be definitely good up to level 3, but after that, I'm not sure it's going to work out the best.
Absolutely. As soon as Leona can hit, we saw last game even, her dash is so long range.
If you use it properly, it is, especially if the enemy flashes right as it hits.
That is also very tragic.
I've had some personal experiences with Leona E. I remember at one point one of my teammates was playing Kale top into a Leona. Not sure why there was a Leona top in that game, but they hit E right as the back finished, and we got to see the Leona travel all the way across the map into our base. It was hilarious to watch, because then the Leona got a little bit tilted.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe that was a Triforce Leona meta.
No, because it was a...
Was it Event Shroud?
No, it was another top lane item. The one that Jax normally builds. I'm trying to...
Divine
Sunderer.
Oh,
yep.
So it was either Triforce or Divine. It's usually what you built on AD Leona.
Yeah. It was an interesting match. It didn't last long enough for the Leona to do anything, though.
Understandable. What was I going to say? So, like that Leona going all the way to base, you can do that with a couple of champs, actually.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that on a Kali.
It's always fun to see.
Or you can do that with Lee Sin. And the reasoning for that is because if you have a shield...
Not anymore with Lee Sin.
Oh, you can't do it with Lee Sin anymore. Cool. That's good.
I mean, on the queue, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, this is good. But because of the reason why it happens is because when you shield yourself before you back, you don't take damage. And so it won't stop your back because you didn't take damage.
Yeah, they added a maximum range to the Lee Sin queue.
Thank goodness.
So.
Thank goodness.
So as long as you walk away from him, he might not be able to dash to you.
This is true. However, Akali, on the other hand...
These champs are not relative to the match. We're just having a little bit of fun here waiting for the match to start. With that 3-minute spectator delay, it's always going to be interesting to see what happens. No real yelling from either team, so I don't expect to see anything super interesting in the first 3 minutes, but we'll have to see.
I do assume that this game is probably going to be a heavy farm game because it is that Samira, that Ashe, very level 6 heavy, that Aurelion Soul, the Ornn, the Yi. You want to be able to get your resources. Same with the other team. You want that Azir to hit his power spike. You want your Kha'Zix to hit his power spike. You want that Nasus to get his stacks. Tristana and Leona are the only ones that really have that early game presence.
I feel like Aesol is definitely the better of the two infinite scalers here, but it's entirely going to depend on if Ornn is bullying that Nasus out of lane. You really can't let Nasus have an early game where he's just going to snowball through the rest of the match.
Absolutely. We are seeing some pretty fun skins here. We do have our Debonair Yi. I don't think that's the Prestige one though.
Not Prestige, but it's still a great skin.
It is a gorgeous skin. This is probably also my best and favorite Aurelion Soul skin.
Occasionally, it's a random chance. It's extremely low, but sometimes when you ult, you get to see Lee Sin be the comet.
Really? I had no idea about
Yep,
that. That is really funny. So maybe we'll see it.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll see
It's
that
like a
this game.
0.0014%, but
Hey,
there's a chance.
It's a chance. It's there. We are seeing a little bit of poke go through this bot side. We have a
Tristana
lethal
loses the poke
tempo.
game.
We have a lethal tempo Ashe
Lethal Tempo Ashe is going to hurt.
and a double heal bot lane.
She's going to be focusing on poking out.
Oh. And a DMAT on our...
No support item
No support item.
for the Ashe.
Oh boy.
And no potions either, considering the long sword start.
Our Ornn has no items.
No item Ornn. I'm a little bit worried about red side here. We were already kind of worried based off of the champ picks. They're not playing around the fact that the enemy team has vision. Unfortunately, blue side isn't taking that advantage either here on the bot lane.
There is no leash on either side here.
No leash on
Both
either
buffs on
side.
the other side of the map are also warded.
Yi is definitely clearing a little bit faster here. In a perfect world, Yi will be able to get to his scuttle before Kha'Zix can, holding Kha'Zix off of 6
I'm
longer.
a little concerned about this Ashe. She is CSing. She's CSing better than her Samira.
Yeah, the spot lane is
Maybe
a
she
little
didn't
bit
take
worrying.
potions because she has biscuits.
The poke is hurting.
The poke is hurting a lot.
As we mentioned earlier, we want to see the poke on Leona. It's going on the Tristana instead.
That is true. As soon as Leona can engage, they're pretty safe. Tristana still has her heal. She does have PTA, so she's going to be able to burst people down.
Ooh.
This Ornn is harassing without any items.
Without any items. Ornn has a great chunk of base damage, but the item he'd probably end up building is just D-Shield, so it wouldn't have really changed his damage. It would change how much healing he gets. Unfortunately, Nasus wasn't poking back there, so...
I'm pretty sure that Ornn has the highest base AD damage in the game.
Something like that. Not quite sure on the exact statistics, but it's definitely high.
Absolutely. Now, this bot lane is using all of their mana. This Ashe has nothing right now.
Ashe has nothing. She was so focused on poke earlier, she's now at a major disadvantage here.
She does, however, have biscuits. We can hope that she has presence of mind. And there's going to be a gank from the Kazakhs coming out, and the Ashe is going to be dying to that bomb.
Bomb and
Tristana
Ignite.
Gets first blood.
Ignite got burned for that kill, but it's definitely worthwhile. 4 summoner spells on the side of our blue side bot lane. Only 3.
And Kazakhs is going to re-gank.
Kazakhs
he's just
setting
there
up
in the
to
bush.
re-gank. The Samira fell back, luckily. Don't think she had vision of it. She just that instinct feeling like, why
And
are
this
they letting me
Ornn
walk
with no
out?
items is just beating this Nasus.
Oh, don't tower dive.
Don't tower dive, buddy. He does have a D-Shield now because he can build items in lane.
That might have been the play there. That might have been why he held off.
That is smart. It might make your laner feel a little bit more confident. We see double longswords coming out from this Ashe as well.
Although Nasus is out CSing the Ornn.
That is a little troubling.
That is troubling, especially considering he gets his stacks from CSing with his Q.
Also, this Yi has Hail of Blades, so will we see a lethality Yi this game?
Maybe. I feel like lethality would be very good considering they have 3 major squishy champs, and if Nasus isn't ulting, he can be a little bit squishy as well, depending on what he builds.
Absolutely. And you have Ashe and Samira for Shred.
Ashe and Samira will definitely be able to take
And
it up.
Asol's an amazing tank shredder because of his scaling damage on his Q.
Yes, the scaling damage on the
And
Q.
we were talking about before, that long distance E really hitting, but the Samira Windwall dash saves her in that situation.
Yes, very nice. Unfortunately, the Tristana kind of set up for that escape there, allowing her to dash over the Tristana and get out.
Absolutely. But they will grab a CS and a level advantage here.
Not as good as it could have been, but still very good. Ornn's still not holding off of that CS.
This Nasus is going to scale out of control if he does not get a hold of that
Engaging
soon.
into that massive minion wave at a level disadvantage. This seems like a misplay from the Ornn. An even trade, however.
I mean, honestly impressive. We see that the Yi is ganking, but there is no bot lane. The Ashe is down here. I don't know if she has her hawk shot just yet.
Missing pinging their Samira that's walking back
And
to lane.
we see the Tristana jumping. They're going to try to grab this Yi on their way out. And the Leona goes back in. The Yi does have his W, so he's going to negate the bomb damage. However, we see the Kazakhs moving down.
Kazakhs
and the Samira is
counter-ganking
back
it.
here. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think the Samira might grab a double kill, but I don't know if she's going to be able to live against this Kazakhs here with the solo damage. But the Yi comes back in, so he no longer has that solo damage, the isolation damage, and I think he's going to go down too.
An excellent play here from our red side, getting that advantage in that fight. Unfortunately, Kazakhs doesn't have his solo damage yet, so he didn't have to play around it as much. He needed level 6.
I keep forgetting when the isolation plays in.
Isolation only really plays in post 6, sadly.
Okay.
And unfortunately, sometimes you see Kazakhs evolve the wrong ability. If they evolve something that isn't their Q, it won't matter until level 11.
Oh. That is rough.
That
so
is
make
very
sure that
rough.
you have your level.
Asol not
Down.
stacking as well as he possibly could be this game, I don't believe.
He
Only
does
at
have
19.
Around now, I think you should have at least 20, 30.
20, 30, yeah. I would like to see
We
30
see
or
this
40
Leona going back
usually.
in, but there's a giant minion wave behind her that's just hitting the tower. She
This
does
feels
ignite
like
the
a bad
Samira.
call.
I'm not entirely sure she can be able to kill the Samira in time. The Samira Conqueror goes off, but the Tristana goes in, and the Samira dashes back in, but the
Not
Tristana
sure.
grabs her.
That wasn't really the best play on the side of red here. They should have just had the Samira walk away.
Yeah,
And
for the
there's the
Kazakhs. And he does a ton of damage currently.
He's
and
getting that-
Dark Harvest stack is going.
He's getting his
ton.
passive from walking into those bushes, allowing to get a bunch of bonus damage on his auto attacks. Level
We
6
see
is
two.
here in
I was
top
gonna say we
lane.
see ults here.
I was expecting to see them come out there. That could have been a one fight for the Ornn. That maximum health damage from the Brittle is just going to make Nasus weaker after he ults instead of better. The main thing that Nasus ult is used for, however, is that bonus on his Q cooldown, getting it down to 2 seconds instead of 4.
And we see this Ornn building his item in lane. He's gonna
Balmy
grab a
Cinder.
Balmy Cinder.
I would have preferred to see a Thorn or Bramble Vest here.
Bramble Vest would be good here as well. However, I also noticed that this Nasus has Ghost, which is not uncommon, no Flash, and Fleet Footwork
No
for the
Flash.
sustain in lane.
I would have preferred to see Flash Ghost.
And Kha'Zix snites away.
Unfortunately,
Skull.
that means he doesn't have Smite up initially, but Red Side isn't really able to do anything off of it here. Ooh,
Oh, the damage coming out, the heal. They grab the Ashe in the bush, and here's the
Samira's-
Asol ult going out.
Asol ult,
The Asol
massive
is just channeling his Q. The Ashe is stacking her lethal tempo. That is a melee range Ashe
Asol
currently.
out
The
of there.
Asol hits and kills. The Samira is down, and they're going to grab the Ashe as well, but the
Unfortunately,
Samira
he is
does
just
stab.
farming his Grump instead of participating in that fight.
That is so tragic. If the Yi would have rotated, they would have won that so hard. He ults
Yi
in.
ulting
I'm not
in
entirely
to
sure he's
the
going to be able to catch up here.
He caught up.
He caught up, and she already used his first
Lethal
jump. She has
tempo
no
coming
flash.
in. Sorry, Hail of Blades coming in there to make sure he secures that kill.
He does
Sprinting
get a
up towards
bomb.
top.
I'm not entirely sure if he can fight this Azir here. He should just leave.
He should.
That Samira is rotating back down now, and the Ashe is back. So they did waste a ton of time. However, now, both junglers, well, not both junglers, only the Kha'Zix have his smite, and the Yi does not.
Blue team's starting to get an advantage here slightly.
He's
in the mid
evolving?
lane.
Question mark?
Evolves Q, yes. That means he will now have his isolation damage, ensuring that if he fights out the correct people in fights, he'll be
Here's
able
an
to take them
Ornal
out.
coming out,
Ult,
and it
not
does
doing
not
anything,
do
unfortunately.
much. They are going to grab this dragon because they know that this red team is backed up. However, the bot lane is sussing this out, and they do grab it in time. However, now Ashe and Samira are a little in danger. Here comes the Asol. He does
They're
not have
making
his
sure to stack on top
ult.
of each other to make sure that Kha'Zix doesn't get the bonus
And the
damage, but
Kha'Zix
Asol
is
walks
almost dead,
away.
but he walks away.
Asol flashed over the wall. Hopefully he gets to live here. Ornn going down in the top lane.
And he
Here,
gets stacked.
Asol kind of just giving up there, it looked like.
Ugh. This Yi just not being able to influence his lanes. I am a little concerned about this double ADC bot lane.
It doesn't look like it's working out as best as they'd like. R1, 3, and 5, and 3, 5, and 2. That KDA isn't the prettiest, but it's working.
It looks like we have a Samira support.
Samira's support. Definitely an interesting setup.
And this Azir is just hitting tower.
Hidden tower. Biscuit's still sitting on that Ashe. Both her and Ornn had Biscuits at the start of this game, meaning they'll have a little bit more mana than normal.
That is true.
Asol trying to get some stacks here, not really pushing for the... Oh, there was a minion DMAT. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Minion DMAT out on the cannon minion, making sure he gets that stack.
Now Nasus has
Engage
this level
on-
up, but he is engaged. This Ornn is engaging inside of Nasus' wave.
Inside of Nasus' wave and Nasus' E, meaning that he's going to have armor shred onto the Ornn, losing Ornn's major advantage.
Nasus is going to ward that bot side as well.
Nasus sitting at 207 stacks already.
That is impressive.
That is an additional 207 damage per Q, up a couple more stacks. The Ornn isn't doing a very great job punishing this Nasus on his Q, or on his stacked pushes. Bot lane getting shoved in on.
And that bomb, I'm not.
Samira
Oh, ignite. No, she does
Lives
not.
on 1
burn.
HP.
We do see a ward in that bush where they were
Oh,
trying
cancel.
to back,
Or sorry,
and
recall
we see
cancel.
a teleport coming out from that Nasus as well. Now they are backing on Vision. This is
Blue
not a
team is
decided to
definitely
stay.
winning the vision battle here.
The Ashe knows that the Leona is no longer here, but I'm not entirely sure she
Aurelian
is
Soul
fine.
roaming up to deal with the Kha'Zix going in on this
I'm
Herald
not
here,
sure if
preventing
they
the
can really
Herald
do
taking.
anything here. They might just reset it. I
Yep,
think
looks
they're
like a
gonna
reset.
it. We see a lot of vision coming out from this blue side. It's a little bit of the red side, but it's really not as efficient.
Nowhere near as efficient. Only the mid lane really trying to play for that vision control.
We also see no sweepers.
No sweepers, no support item for wards. That bot side is going to lose the vision battle every time in that situation.
I'm very worried about this Ornn top
He
side.
walking in to try and gank, but he's walking over a ward. Ornn's going to go down, it looks
And
like.
he's gonna get stacked
Gets
as well.
stacked. Yi trying to come in and walks just away from
And
them.
the Ashe ult, but it's a little too late.
Yi, instead of walking towards them, just walks away. Kha'Zix counter gank.
And I do think that might be the prestige version of Yi. There is a lot of particle effects.
There is a lot of part of. I
I'm
don't
not
think.
totally
I don't.
sure,
That
though.
is, I don't think that's debonair Yi in the first place.
Oh, that's Spirit Blossom Yi.
That's Spirit Blossom.
That's my brain. There we go. I was like, it's one of the pretty new Yi skins.
Yeah. Aurelion Sol ended up roaming up top, trying to prevent that Naz's push. Aurelion Sol is now at 84 stacks. He's getting close to that 100 stack mark, and then he can start really doing things in team fights.
As long as Asol gets to his 2-item spike with his 200 stacks, I think he should be fine.
Oh no. Asol's not building ROA.
He's not building Roa, he's going Leandries, which actually Leandries is the more popular build currently for Asol.
I feel like ROA, considering the disadvantage here in the mid lane, would have been a much better choice, including the mana and health regen.
I would agree.
Oh, there's a tier,
It is
though.
really nice to make yourself tanky. Seraphs does save that a little bit because of that shield. I've seen a lot of Asol mains be building Leandries because they don't feel like they do enough damage with Roa. Roa stands for Rod of Ages, by the
Yes.
way.
They don't really need the tank shred here, though. They have
really
two
don't.
ADCs.
Yeah, and almost 3 with the melee Yi being so much damage. He is going to rush Bork, very traditional Yi build.
Making sure that he has that maximum health damage, making sure he can take down tankier chances quickly.
We are going to see a finished Dustblade on our Kha'Zix. We're going to see an Even Shroud on our Leona. We have a Ludens on our Azir and an Essence Reaver on our Nasus.
Sounds like the other match is having some fun here as well.
Yes, the other match going on currently sounds very exciting. I did hear about a Lilia and a Fiddlesticks.
Some interesting jungle matches, though.
Yes. We do see the Kraken finally finished on our Ashe, but we also see the Kraken finished on the Tristana. The Smear
Pushing
is
for
behind an
platings.
item as well.
Unfortunate thing here is they're going for a third plating, which they can't really get considering
And they're
every
going to
time
get jumped on by the Kha'Zix.
they're splitting up.
Oh my
Kha'Zix
gosh.
getting that isolation damage.
I'm not entirely
Invis
sure
from
how
the
they
mythic.
Oh, he does use his smite to slow
Smite
down,
kill.
and she's dead.
Double kill for Kha'Zix, just a free take here in the bot lane.
We are going to see a Sunfire built on Ornn here.
I still would have preferred a Thornmail first, considering the amount of healing that
We see a
we'll
Yi
from the
ganking
Nasus.
here. We are going to
Nasus
see this
ulting to
mass
get
ult.
out.
I'm not entirely sure he's going to be able to get out of this one.
Essence
Oh my
Reaver.
gosh!
The Essence Reaver damage coming in there to nearly almost one-shot the Yi. I'm kind of worried for the red team here because they're letting the Infinite Scalar get up and stuff.
Absolutely. And he's currently dead, so they will not show us the stats for that currently.
Unfortunate.
But we do have a Immortal Shield Bow on our
Samira.
Samir now.
Yi is 3-0-2. That's a great sign for the Yi.
Sarah Tristana roaming, and she does not take the plant in the correct way. They're going to take Hextech Skates to the other side. That is going to be spotted out by that Scuttle Crab. Ornn is building an item on the enemy side of the
In vision.
Envision.
I don't think Ornn is able to live
I don't know if he's
here.
going to be able to make it out of this one. I think
He
he's just
eased
going to
back
commit.
into the fight and goes down.
We aren't going to
Tristana
see...
getting that extra gold from her runes here, playing that treasure hunter rune, making sure that she gets gold after she starts leaving lane.
Absolutely. We are also seeing the Nuke Quiver being finished up here on our E, which is interesting considering we thought he was going to go lethality because that's usually the Halo Blades build.
Asol walking down towards bot, trying to counter that Azir's pressure here. They don't have vision of him, I don't believe. No, they do
They do have
it.
vision of him, but they also have Ashe ult, which is going
And
to
ult-
hit,
and they have evolved ult
but
on them,
they
and
do not layer their CC.
They do not. Unfortunate. Would have. It's a good thing they saved it though. It looks like they're about to need it.
That is true. The Leona
There it
ult
is.
hits, and I don't know if he can do anything here.
Not really.
He is
Asol
going
should
to
really
chunk
get away
out that
here.
Tristana. The Yi is coming in.
You should not engage right now. This is a bad fight for the Yi.
Yep, he's gonna just get
Just get
CC'd.
C'd out and then goes down. Asol couldn't have done anything there to stop that.
I think if he would have flown in and just queued, he should be able to kill.
He might be
However,
no, he does
got
not.
CC'd.
There's too much CC. I still believe that the Yi made a misplay there, kind of ending his Asol. Asol should have known that was a bad fight, not engaged afterwards though.
I agree. We are seeing all of the bounties going over, or all of the shutdowns going over to this blue side, but there is now going to be an objective bounty going up for the red side.
Blue side getting that gold advantage up to 4K again. We saw the last match nearly pulled out a win with that 4K disadvantage though. We'll have to see what happens here.
I am seeing the Yi pinging quite a bit of the bounties.
Yi really wants to play for those bounties, which is a great decision on the side of red team here. If they can get that gold split for their team, it'll be great. They have yet to take a single dragon.
Yes.
Hextech
And
would
now
be
we
great
see
for it.
another Kazakh skank here, and they don't stand on top of each other.
They keep continuously making that same mistake against Kazakhs of splitting up.
And Master
You
Yi
don't
is
wanna
pinging
do
the
that.
Kazakhs bounty.
Master Yi seems to be a little bit tilted in this match.
It is rough when your bot lane does not have that vision control.
It's rough in general, but he doesn't seem to be playing around the correct people either. He should really be trying to force that Nasus out of the game. He already had one successful gank against the Nasus. I'm not sure why he isn't going over there more.
That is true. Well, Nasus no longer has a tower, which
I would have liked to see the
Should've.
ganks more earlier game.
absolutely.
Double splash here in the bot lane. Mistake. He shouldn't have started queuing if he had kept walking. The Kazakhs should have taken 2 tower shots and gone down there, getting the shutdown.
Absolutely.
Be down here to make sure that they can take that tower. Azir shoving in mid, getting that tower down, breaking open the map.
Now, normally with that top tower gone, you're gonna want that Ornn to start roaming. However, it is a Nasus. If you just leave him up top lane, he's just gonna scale to
Stack.
infinity.
Yep, you can't leave a Nasus alone. Nasus up to 400 stacks already though, at the 18-minute mark.
Might I say that he is also playing one of my favorite Nasus skins, Space Groove.
Space Groove is an excellent Nasus skin. By far one of the best. Turning him into a mech
We
little
are
dog.
seeing a 3-man siege here bot lane.
4-man
And,
actually.
4-man siege bot lane, and this Nasus just heals way too much.
Yeah.
They are gonna poke a
Ornn
little bit
can't
with this.
rotate to help with
and
the siege. He does
Asol
have teleport.
stack. Asol gets plenty
Yi
of stacks
ping-
there.
Yi pinging the Asol art might be looking like an engage here.
And the Leona misses her E.
They're split
Oh,
up.
but
Oh
the Leona
no!
and the bomb!
Yi get left to die.
Holy cow!
EQ coming out, trying to get a kill, goes
Oh
down.
my! And then all goes to Tristana. She gets a quadra kill.
That's insane. This is the
Oh my goodness! This Tristana is just out of control. I think she's building IE next.
yeah.
Or is it Bloodthirst? I think it's an IE.
We'll have to see. Yeah, it's an IE. We got a crit cloak. There we go.
That was an insane
And a Zeal.
fight.
Are we going for a Phantom Dancer?
The Even Shroud really just makes so much more damage.
We've got a Zeal and a Dagger on the Tristana. I believe that looks like a Phantom Dancer here, which is going to be great against melting that Ornn.
Absolutely. A Phantom
I'm
Dancer is a wonderful item.
Still waiting for Ornn to hit 13 to start upgrading Mythics.
He doesn't have a mythic himself yet.
He does not. He's not going to be able to upgrade his own Mythic, but that means he can upgrade somebody else's right away.
This is true.
He also choosing to go for Kraken Slayer. That means there's 2 Kraken Slayer. There's so much anti-tank on the side of red team against a team with only 2 tanks.
I really don't think that Yi should have gone Kraken Slayer here. And I also, well, if he should have gone Kraken Slayer, and the Ashe should have gone Imperial Mandate.
Imperial Mandate on Ashe is very good for Ashe support, but she's
And
not really
Samira's
playing
just
it like a
gone.
support either. They have the same amount of CS with no support either.
They have the exact amount of CS.
An interesting play to play double ADC bot lane. It doesn't look like it's working out
I
at
do
all.
think that the Yi should get the
Asol
first upgrade.
ult
And we
crashing.
get an ult,
There
and we
we
finally
go.
get our
And
shutdown
oh no, he's
till
gonna
ever. He's
die
gonna
to
get
the
hit by the
passive.
Azir tower.
Oh my.
And I don't know if this Yi can take out this
He can
Kha'Zix.
win.
Oh my
He has the minion
gosh!
support. It cancels out the passive on that Q. It's going to mean it doesn't do his damage.
And the Yi is just so fed at this point.
The Yi
We
might be
can
able
hope
to
that she can
solo carry
carry.
this team in.
Absolutely. Now we just have to make sure that the rest of his team is willing to play around him.
He really needs to prevent them from getting the soul here. If they get soul, it's going to be something that they can roll into a win. Definitely a win condition for this blue team.
Whereas on Norris side, really passive.
I'm just in shock about this double ADC bot lane. It is so confusing to me. We are seeing a Jack show on this Ornn.
Feels like a bit of miscommunication during Champ Select rolling into a loss.
I do have to agree.
Unfortunately with League, even though it's one of those games, it has over 3 billion different possibilities when you're loading into a game, but sometimes those different possibilities just result in losses if you do it wrong. Leona rowing down into the bot lane here, stunning
The
3 people.
CC chain is just too much. And I don't know, the Ashe is not going to be able to get out here.
Tristana getting another kill. 16, 2, and 6 for the Tristana. That's going to be very painful. Characters such as Ornn that have been trying to keep it even. However, it's not going
we're
to be...
going to go for this. Oh my gosh, the Nasus just disappears.
Nasus disappears. Appears he's been dying a lot. 2 and 3. No recent kills. Meaning he's not going to be giving full gold to the Yi.
Compared to the bot lane, though, that is a 4 and 22 KDA combined.
4 and 22. That is a major disadvantage for only 8 and 2 to try and bring it back.
Absolutely.
Yi, however, is playing a build that can shut down that Tristana pretty fast.
And this Kha'Zix, he has 17 Dark Harvest stacks as well. That's going to start hurting.
That is going to start hurting.
The Azir hits this Ornn underneath tower. The Ornn is just going for tower at this point, but the Tristana and Leona are
but
there.
Tristana and Leona move.
But they do
Aesol
get
about to
the-
go
oh,
down,
this
I don't
Aesol.
believe.
I
Aesol
think
walked
he's
away from his
done.
minions. He
I
should not
think
have walked
he
away
is
from the
done.
minions.
The Ornn has finished his tank item and has upgraded it.
It really feels like this red team just doesn't understand Kha'Zix passive.
They are not really that coordinated all either. But we do see Death Dance coming out on the sea.
We do see Ornn also finally building his mythic, getting the upgrade on it. Jack Show, an excellent choice considering the team that they're playing into, needing to win those team fights.
This Kha'Zix is just out for blood. And this Ashe is not paying attention. She does not have vision control, and she is gone.
She had the minion wave, but it wasn't enough. That passive auto just deals massive amounts of damage no matter what he's got
And the
happening.
Kha'Zix had popped Yomumu's blade.
There was no getting away there.
Absolutely not.
Yi, however, like I
Yi,
mentioned, is just
he's
shutting down that
really
Tristana.
Going for this. He dodges the Leona ult with his Q, and I think it's
plays
over.
from the Yi here.
This Samira
However,
is trying.
Samira is
She's
kind of
going to get
gives
stacked
away
by
a
the
stack.
Nasus. And he's going to go for this. Oh my goodness. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be able to 2v1 this. No, he does not.
Unfortunate, but however, he does get that shutdown onto the Azir.
However, his shutdown went onto the Kha'Zix.
Kha'Zix is getting close to not being able to do much more in this game. During teamfight phase, I worry that Kha'Zix won't be able to get anything done.
If we ever see a teamfight phase.
If we see a teamfight phase, however, it feels like there's just a rotating amount of deaths on the side of blue team here, or red team here, I mean.
And we have 500 stacks on this Nasus.
That is so much damage.
That is an insane amount of damage on that Q now.
It can one-shot ranged minions, meaning that it will just be able to farm over and over and over again. He has hit that power spike of no return. I'm afraid that the red team has no chance here. Aurelion Sol has been trying to farm
I'm not
up
entirely sure this is
stacks.
going to work.
Aurelion Sol is getting close to 200 stacks. That is a great sign.
He does have his demonics, but he should have gone for his Seraphs. He's waiting to go back. He wants to try to kill that Aesol.
Aesol, I need you to W. There you go, buddy.
And he's going to Q backwards. And that's a wasted Nasus ult.
Yes, and Nasus without ult, especially with the build that Nasus is going, what appears to be lethality, he's going to be very squishy.
Absolutely. His Azir's joining him up here to make sure to cover him.
Once again, meaning that the amount of anti-tank is not
Hextech
justified.
The Hextech Soul is going to hurt a lot.
Like I mentioned earlier, they really need to prevent that, but Yi was playing top side instead of bot side while the final dragon was up. Unfortunate.
It says the red team has claimed the Hextech Soul, but that is not true.
That is not correct.
Thanks, Riot Client. We do see some Wits Ends coming out finally.
Wits Ends, excellent choice.
Kind of only into the Azir, really.
Azir, yes. I feel like preventing a little bit of Leona chunk damage.
The on hit would be nice, but I think they're just going to try to fight for Baron here. And they're just going to try to take out the Yi. The Yi is the whole team. But the Nasus goes down in the process. I think this Aesol's hitting his power spike. Oh my gosh, he's hitting, but he's going to get taken down by the Azir. However, the Azir can't really do much against this Ornn and this Ashe. And that's a wipe. That is a team wipe by
That's
Brett.
a sudden flip. Ornn should tank and let them get Baron here.
Yeah, I mean,
feel
you
like
have
they
two
enough.
ADCs. But they're not going to go for it. They're going to go for tower instead.
I understand to an extent, but they'd get so much more off of taking Baron, especially considering the current bounties.
I agree. Well, I think they were a little worried because Samira was bot lane. And we see now that Tristan and Leona are back up, so they are going to try to defend this mid tower.
I definitely think that will be doable considering that they're playing against the two people who really don't have anything on the side of red here.
Absolutely. And that's the issue is Ashe is so item dependent, so gold dependent, unless you build her Imperial Mandate support.
Red team stacking up, going for Baron now.
I'm not entirely sure they can win this team fight.
Ornn building in some items here, making sure that he goes for...
They did use the hawk shot.
I'm not sure how I feel.
I don't know how I feel.
about
That is the ult coming out, and that is 2 of your teammates gone. They don't have the giant ult from the
Lost team fight here,
Aesol. I
unfortunately.
think that is done. The Aesol does escape.
Aesol gets out, but there's not much you can do about them taking Baron. They really shouldn't have walked towards Baron in this situation. I also don't sure how I feel about the force of nature on our Ornn here. There isn't a lot of AP to build against.
You really want to go that Thornmail.
Really waiting on that Thornmail, really not the best option here. However, Ornn should be hitting a level here soon, being able to upgrade another Mythic.
I think we're also seeing a GA come out for this Yi.
An excellent decision considering he's being focused down in team fights, being able to respawn in, especially if the enemy team isn't paying attention, they can lose some of their important carries to him respawning in the backline.
On the downside, we do see that this Aesol is not building his Seraphs.
Not at all, which is very
I
disappointing. A
think he's
Hextech
going to go for
Alternator.
his Shadow Flame.
Teleport coming up with the top lane.
If he could get that Seraph's Embrace, he would get that mana.
They're gonna ult
mana
here
tier.
for Ornn. I'm not entirely sure they're gonna be able to get anything here.
That felt like a
They
kind
do
of...
hit the Zir, but there's no engage.
They cannot engage on that. Really a misplay of that ult. Nasus being able to push top lane because they're all mid.
We see a Prowler's Claw on our Nasus.
Power's Claw Nasus. I am worried for the opponent backline here.
We also
Especially
see Rapid Fire Cannon on our Tristana and an LDR.
an LDR. That's going to just melt through Ornn now. I don't think
Absolutely.
Ornn is going to be allowed to play the game for much longer.
And the Kha'Zix just jumps in and takes out that Samira. They go
Ornn
loop
having...
around and then just take out the whole team.
And Ornn's going to go down eventually. He is very tanky, just sitting
And
there
this
trying
Yi
to
just
live.
runs
Yi
in.
is
I'm
running
not sure he's
in.
gonna get killed. Oh my gosh, wait, he's gonna take out the Kha'Zix
Wait,
too. He's
what
gonna
is
take out
this?
the Kha'Zix, and I'm not entirely sure he can take out this Azir, but this
Aesol's following
Aesol
up.
was so close to taking him. The Collector is on the Nasus now as well.
Up to 250 stacks on our Aesol. He's going to start
really
scaling in
getting there.
soon. If they don't do anything about him, it's going to be an issue.
The Elder Dragon is up in a minute or so, and Leona is just sieging this tower by herself while Tristana wraps around.
Aesol is walking over, clearing out the minion wave. An excellent decision considering he can execute them, making sure that they can't siege as long as they'd want to. However, he can't engage, knowing that both Tristana and
He did
Leona
hit
are there.
the Tristana there with his Q range.
Yes, he did, but it's not going to do a ton considering he's max health damage at the moment.
This is true.
More and more executes. He got, what, 3 cannon minions there, letting him get a decent chunk of stacks. Up to 270 now.
It does look like this Master Yi is a little bit tilted.
Just a wee bit.
He does get a Shadow Flame finally.
Shadow Flame going to be good, making sure that those shields aren't going to do
And
well.
Ornn has reached 16, so he can now upgrade
An
another
excellent
item.
question here is why Shadow Flame over Rod? I feel like Rod would have been a lot better choice considering that the opponent team doesn't have many shields.
This is true. A little concerning. Shadow Flame, though, does... I don't know. Shadow Flame is usually a go-to build, especially on any AP character, because it has that value. But I do see that there is shields.
Yeah.
And that Ashe is just gone.
I would prefer the 40% magic resist over the flat 20 magic pen that comes with.
Absolutely. You could even, if you wanted to, go... yeah.
Well, it's not even a flat 20. It gets reduced the lower health they are. If I recall correctly.
I don't remember that item all that well.
It gets stronger as they get lower in health.
And they're gonna grab this Elder Dragon. I don't think there's any way to contest.
Unfortunately, they're down the Ashe. They're major CC.
And
Aesol
Master
is
Yi does have his upgraded item, and so does
finally
the Aesol.
upgrading their items. That took a while, but at least it's here.
And the Elder Dragon is gone.
Elder Dragon is down. I don't think there's any way to win a team fight here. They really should not be engaging or trying to get away. They're in the minion wave, meaning Kha'Zix can't deal damage.
The Arnold's coming out to help stall.
Evolved
The
Ace
Ash is
ult as
now
well.
up,
This could be a
but
great
I don't
team fight.
see a
Oh my!
Samira. Oh my gosh! The E! It's pulling everyone
Unfortunately,
back
Ace ult
in,
goes
but
down.
the Kha'Zix goes in. Is that the Kha'Zix?
Nasus goes down.
That was the Nasus. Oh my gosh, I couldn't find him.
Kha'Zix
Kha'Zix
is
is over there on the
going back.
side. He's gonna be able to execute the Ornn there with that.
Oh my!
Oh my goodness.
I feel like Ornn really shouldn't have E'd there.
The
Yee's
is
running
back up.
in.
He's running in. He's flashing in, but
He should have
Kha'Zix
taken the
just
blast
jumps
fruit.
away.
He
And
does
he's
have a
going to
faster
miss out on the Leona.
Unfortunate. Yee not really being able to clean up as much as one would have liked there.
Gets chomped on.
I am just in awe about how hard this game has been fought.
I'm amazed that the red team has held on this long, to be quite
Absolutely.
frank.
I am impressed. The Samira did go Collector.
Samira Collector, an excellent decision considering they have 3 squishies. They really need to kill fast. If they don't take them out quickly enough in team fights, it's going to be an issue. However, it feels like this Kha'Zix is a bit tankier than normal. I feel like that
He took Chempunk.
He took Chempunk Chainsword. An excellent choice considering the healing from Samira
Oh,
and
this
Yi.
Nasus is ghosting at this Samira.
I don't think Samira. Oh, that's slow from the Ash saving her.
And I'm unsure of how this is going to work out. The Yi does have his GA now, but I'm not sure that second life is going to do anything.
One team fight could flip this entire match.
The Ashe now has her upgraded item. The Ornn upgraded the Ashe's item over the Samira's.
That is very unfortunate.
And we see the Ornn coming out once again. It only hits the Leona. And they're just sieging.
That Elder Dragon is definitely putting in work. That true health burn is going to deal a lot of damage to characters like Ornn.
We're also seeing a Frozen Heart coming out on that Leona, which is amazing against these ADCs.
Yeah, there
and
goes
I
the
think
team
this team
fight.
is just gone. There they go. The Ace coming up soon. This Yi really holding on.
He's trying his best, but there's nothing he can do against 5 people.
And the Yi goes down. That is an ace, and I believe that one would be the end of the game.
There isn't much they can do here to save the match.
They've really tried, and I respect their attempts.
I respect the attack. The double ADC bot lane was a little bit painful.
And there's the
Eventually,
game.
rolling into the snowball that lets them win the game.
Absolutely. So the game goes in the way of Norris.
Looking up here, we can see that the
Kha'Zix
Kha'Zix did so much work
just
in that
absolutely
match.
demolished.
They were really not playing around Naz's against Kha'Zix's passive, letting him get in a bunch of bonus damage when they really shouldn't have been letting him do so.
Agreed. Now, the Yi did an amazing job. As I would say, the Acel did a pretty good job as well.
Acel tried his hardest, so did the Yi, so did the Ornn. It just felt like a very snowbally match where they didn't have much of a chance.
That bot lane was just so hard to play around. So,
Very much so.
congrats to Norris for that win.
Congrats to Norris making 3rd.